Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Sorry it's been so long, I've just been really busy lately, and I probably won't be getting it out to a video next week as well. But anyways, that's not the important part. The important part is the Centurion Mk.1. This tank was added in patch 1.67, and it is basically Centurion Mk.3, same hull with a different turret. So with that, you get a 17-pounder gun with an amazing reload rate, and it has the late shell selection, so it gets the Sable shell, which some of the earlier 17-pounders don't get. So just about 220 millimeters, just over 220 millimeters of penetration on the Sable shell, which is the shell I would recommend using, as none of the shells actually get high explosive filler, and the Sable goes right through whatever the hell you shoot at, so it doesn't really matter. It'll go right through the upper front plate of a Panther, go right through a Tiger, can pen the turret cheeks of a Tiger 2, as this thing is at a 5.7 battle rating and does still see Tiger 2s from now and again. But it is not that big of an issue because you can kill them frontally, which is quite nice in the low tier tank. So, this thing's gun is very low frag, very high penetration, high rate of fire, so you can still kill things very quickly. It just might take you a couple shots. Now, ammo-wise, I recommend taking 30 shells of APDS, or Sable, whatever you want to call it, just because that leaves the one front ammo rack next to the driver, and that's it. So then you don't really have to worry about the floor ammo racks or anything like that when you get shot in the side. So, this thing's upper plate is very well protected, and its turret as well. If you angle the turret similar in the way you would in like a Tiger 2, it does very well. It'll balance almost anything that you see except for top tier tanks such as the Tiger 2 with the long 88 and IS2s. You need to watch out for that 122 as well, as it will also just kill you, go right through. When this thing takes a penetrating hit, it does tend to die in one hit, as you only have 4 crew and 3 of them are in the turret. So that is a bit of a downside to this tank, but generally you will bounce a few shots if it's not coming from a high caliber or large cannon. So as you can see, I'm having issues with the KP2 just not hitting the ammo rack. And then I finally do get a hit that goes through and it's the ammo rack. And at this point, that's when the SC-100 notices me. Now, with him, I kill his driver gunner first shot, which you can definitely do with this. Second shot got unlucky and ricochets, so third shot I have to go back, and I figure his driver and gunner will be back up. And I was right, so that knocks out his crew. So, that was this thing's rail fire getting put to good use, and that's just kind of one of the examples that it's good at. Now, when shooting at a tank frontally, I always recommend to aim for center of mass in the hull area with this, as you can usually frag out and kill most of the crew. This thing with side shots is actually worse than when you're shooting at things frontally, just because they're not as spaced out in width-wise. So when you're shooting into a side, you need to aim for specific components. When you're shooting at the front, you can usually get it to frag just enough to kill everybody. But that is definitely something to watch out for. So, as you saw, that IS2, I believe it was just randomly rendered into my screen, and he's going to be waiting for me on this corner, and I could try and side scrape the IS2, but that's not a good idea. It's an IS2, it'll probably just kill me in one shot, because that's what IS2s do. So I decided to go around, and that actually turned out to be a very good decision. So I'm driving the tank around using its excellent mobility, because it's a medium tank, so it has medium tank mobility, and I find a different IS2. Put the first shot into him, take out his gunner and a couple other things, and the second shot will finish him off. Or not, because, you know, RNG APDS. But anyways, his gunner comes back up, so I put it back inside of his turret, and I start looking for other tanks. Now at this point I am getting kind of close to their spawn, so that is something that I need to watch out for. And the unfortunate ZSU, I don't know if that guy had just spawned or not, but whatever, he was there, my cannon was loaded, and it wasn't after I saw him. And as I mentioned, I was too close to spawn, and a T-3045 that had just spawned turned around and put a shot into my side. So on to the next replay. Now, on the next game, these are both fairly short games, by the way, but it is what it is, because I kept forgetting to press record. Anyways, so, as you saw in the last game, this thing can definitely bounce a few shots, as you saw from the T-44, and I can't remember what else shot me. It's very late at night. But in this game, we're fighting the Germans and Japanese. Now, the Japanese actually present more of a problem than the Germans because they don't have enough armor to get this APDS to frag for some reason. It just kind of goes right through one side and in one side and out the other as a solid slug. So it definitely overpenetrates a bit. However, that's not the end of the world because they're Japanese tanks, and you'll just kill their gunner and knock out all the crew because they're fairly compact. Everything's kind of squished together in them, so it's not the biggest deal to try and kill one of those. So I'm pushing up. I was originally going to Cap B, but I realized I'm not going to make it. So now what my plan is just to kind of go up near C and try to get some people that maybe aren't paying attention or just don't know where I am, kind of thing. I wasn't really looking for side shots because I'll have actually better luck from the front with this cannon in this round. So that's what I intended to do. It's kind of a bit of a weird tactic, but whatever. That's how it goes. So the other thing about this tank is it's actually in the 4v4 Sparta tournament this weekend, and it's probably one of the better choices for that, as it has a very high penetration gun and a good rate of fire, and it has almost equal armor to all other opponents, which I find kind of interesting. Anyways, that's just a little bit of a side note. So, as I'm pushing up, I'm trying to be careful not to give my sides to anything, because while you can get away with side scraping, you don't want to just give your side to somebody because you will just die, as everyone else has APHE filler except for you. So that is definitely something you need to be wary of. That your sides aren't invincible, not nearly as much as your front is. Now, my first victim is NATO. I actually thought that thing was like the SU truck that the Russians get, even though the Russians aren't on the team. I was really confused when I saw that. Anyway, though, he's out of the game already, and now I start looking for other victims because my cannon's loaded and I'm not shooting it. That's when a Panther comes around the corner, right through the center plate, or right through the upper plate, and slightly angled even, and just goes right through. This tank does not care. So I'm waiting for him to respawn so we can side shot into the Tiger, and it bounced because reasons. So second shot goes right in and knocks out his MRX on the other side of the tank. So that's 3 tanks down in quick succession. Now this replay is very short because, like I said, I want to go to bed, and it's very late when I'm doing these because I'm an idiot. So now I'm just kind of looking around, not really seeing much else. So I decide to be stupid and push even farther than I already had. And that's when I find a Tiger. Put a shot into the Tiger, kill a Tiger, take 2 shots into the side, and the Panther kills me. So I would highly recommend this tank for anyone going down the British tree, as it's good armor and good rate of fire, making it an excellent opponent at 5.7. And I'll see you guys next time.